What does it mean for a business to be efficient? A lot of entrepreneurs think that business efficiency means doing more tasks, more automations, more hustle. But real efficiency means doing less of the wrong things and spending more time on the actual things that will grow your business and bring in more revenue. In this episode, you'll come away understanding what real business efficiency looks like and how you can free up your time to focus on the most profitable activities. Let's dive right in. What business efficiency really means. So it's not about multitasking or working faster, it's about working smarter. So to give it a better definition, working efficiently means making the best use of your time, as well as the best use of your systems, the best use of your team. Now, if you don't have systems or you don't have team, well, then that's part of your problem, because then you're not able to allocate your time to the most important tasks. You're having to do every single task. But we'll talk more in depth on this video of how to create systems and how to hire a team that can assist with that to help you really become more and more efficient. Now, one important goal is for you to spend your valuable time in the areas that are actually going to grow your business, that are actually going to generate revenue. So you need to be doing the sales. You might need to do the speaking. You might need to do the content creation. But designing your website or your ads or running your ads campaign or doing the video editing or doing the bookkeeping, those things are critical. Those things are important, but not for you. If you want to be efficient, you have to be doing the things that bring in revenue. Those things are necessary for your business, but they don't bring in any revenue. The big misunderstanding. So I mentioned it a moment ago that most entrepreneurs confuse being busy with being efficient. They feel like, man, I'm just so busy all day long. I'm being really efficient. So the reality is they're not being lazy. They're not being idle. So they're being active and they're doing work. They're getting things done. And so that is good. That is virtuous. And so it can be really stressful when you look at your bank account and it's empty or it's in the negative. And there's a reason for that. Now, if you've ever been employed by a business, right, and you're really, really busy doing the tasks that they tell you to do, and then you have the thought, man, if I just step out on my own, if I create my own business, I'll be a lot more profitable. But then there's the awakening to all the different hats that you're going to be wearing as well. When you transition to becoming a business owner, you have to focus on a lot of other things. You have to focus on building a business and building systems. So multitasking and the hustle often feel like you're being productive. They feel like you're being so effective and efficient. But you really have to differentiate between all the different tasks that you could be hustling on and decide which ones should you be focusing on and not allow yourself to do all the other tasks. Create a system for that and hire other team members for that. If you look at all the processes, sometimes we will optimize a process that we shouldn't be doing in the first place. The most profitable tasks for a business owner are a few fold. Now let's look at number one. You need to make sure that you're generating leads and you're generating sales. Is there anything that you can do right now to generate a lead? And is there anything you can do right now to turn that lead into a client or customer? If you work on your branding colors right now, or your logo design, or you fix your blog post, or you buy a new domain name, right? Are any of those things going to generate a new lead right now? Are any of those things going to turn a lead into a customer right now? But what about texting a lead? Like, what about inviting them to a Zoom call? Can you jump on Zoom with anybody right now? Now, when you hire people, like you know what delegation is and you know how important it can be, but you've got to delegate the right things. If you delegate sales or if you delegate lead generation at the wrong time, meaning if you haven't figured out your lead generation system yet and know if it's even working and consistently generate leads, never try to delegate that. I have a friend who for this moment will remain anonymous, but she generates 1,400 leads per month, and she's struggling financially. Here's why. She's relying on her website to make 100% of her sales. So these 1,400 people are coming in and she's making a little bit of sales on her website. It's a little trickle. I predicted to her that she could 100x her revenue if she would just reach out and have conversations with these people. Now, how does she have conversations with 1,400 people every month? I don't know. She might have to do webinars live with these people. She might have to have filters, but that's a good problem to have. But that's what 100% of her focus should be, is not designing a new product or tweaking the landing page. She needs to be having conversations and focusing on making sales. Let's bring profit into the equation, because profit and efficiency go hand in hand. For many years in my business, I had the wrong understanding of profit. I thought about my overhead, all my expenses, my payroll, my income. Okay, so let's say that came right here. And so if my revenue matched that, I thought I had a profitable business. That's not profitable. That's paycheck to paycheck. So profitable, there needs to be margin on top. You need to have money left over. You need to be putting money into savings. So your savings account needs to increase. Otherwise, there's no profit. So there might be income to you, and you're basically just self-employed. You're a slave to your own company, but you're not profitable. So make sure you understand profitability like this when we're talking about efficiency. That's the goal. Now, I've got a lot of other episodes that go into way more depth on how to create systems, but we do need to talk about it here. When there's a process that you go through for generating a lead, document it. Where do you go, or what do you do, or what tool do you use, and what steps do you follow? Document it. Is it repeatable? Do you do the same thing every time? Are there steps you could add to make that process better, to make it more efficient? Is it something that you can then train somebody else to do? Or are there steps that you can automate with additional tools to make it faster or make it more efficient? Can you batch that activity to where instead of doing 5 minutes here and 5 minutes there and 5 minutes there, what if you put in a dedicated hour on this day? Now, when you hire somebody to run a system, and it will typically take you longer to train. So if you figured something out and now you know how to dedicate an hour and get this much done in that hour, if you hire somebody else to do it, don't expect them to have that same efficiency or that same kind of aptitude that you have right then. But if they've got the desire and they've got the drive, they'll be able to get it 80%, and your job is to help them get it to 100%. Next time they do it, maybe they'll get to 81% on their own, and you help them get to 100%. Over time, that time you put into training them will eventually make it so you don't have to put any time into it. And then you can work on the next system and then finding somebody else to run that system. The more efficient you are and the more efficient your business is, the more time you can focus on building your authority. Now, I'm not talking about building your expertise, but I'm talking about the way that people perceive you as the expert. So your authority, or the way that you are the number one thought leader in your niche. If you have an efficient business, then you can focus on building that authority. So let me just give you an example. So I have a company, and I employ 35 people in different capacities, and I have a done-for-you service. So my clients, I can hold them by the hand and lead them from point A to point Z in helping them dominate YouTube and dominate ChatGPT for their expertise. So it turns into lead generation for them. And not only have I created efficient ways and systems to do that internally, but I set it up so that my clients can be super efficient. All they have to do is focus on their content. They're the experts, but we do everything else for them in terms of we help them with the strategy. We tell them what content is going to help them dominate their niche. We do the filming, we do the editing, we do the thumbnail design. We launch everything for them on YouTube. We get them ranked on Google, YouTube, and ChatGPT. So with that understanding of the need for you to have more efficiency in your business and to focus on a profit margin, I really want you to understand how to build your authority. I'm going to link to an episode right there. It's called What is Authority Marketing? You really need to understand what it is, and in that video I'll teach you how to do it so you can be the number one thought leader in your space. I'll see you there.